Amazing, thank you so much. I love that you set me up there, Phil. I've worked in productivity for the last 10 years, but hey, let's go. So how to build a future-ready culture. If I had more than 10 minutes with you today, I might start by asking you, what do you think a future-ready culture might involve? And you might say words to me like innovation, navigating change, uncertainty, dealing with ambiguity, maybe growth, maybe learning, human intelligence, emotional intelligence. One word that I don't think would be on your radar, but I'd like to put on your radar today, is this word, struggle. Partly because I wrote a book on it, selfishly. It's called Struggle, the Surprising Truth, Beauty and Opportunity Hidden in Life's Shittier Moments. And that's what I want to talk to you about today. So let's say this piece of paper here represents something that I'm struggling with right now. As an action, struggle feels like this. It's a mess. I want to put it away, shove it in a box, put the lid over it, and never think about it again. Now and again, I might pick it up and talk to myself about what a mess it is. But really, what I want to do? I want to pick up a new thing, a new piece of paper. But then maybe something goes wrong with that. Doesn't it sometimes work like this? That in work, in life, struggle happens. Struggle happens instead of the good things that we imagined, that we worked hard for, that we planned meticulously for. You know, the delighted customers, the happy team, the successful campaign, not these screwed up pieces of... And I get it, because I struggle. And I bet you do too. Struggle is a universal experience. But for something that we all experience, it's something we very rarely talk about. Because we think that it means something's gone horribly wrong. Or maybe something's wrong with me. But what if we got it all wrong about getting it wrong? You see, when we're in struggle, it can feel a lot like being inside a tunnel. And when we're in a tunnel, we get tunnel vision. We get fixated on finding the exits. So you might either go, whoa, wrong turn, back up, go back the way we came. This is not part of the plan. Or you might plow on through and go, there must be light at the end of the tunnel. Let's find the exit, got to get out of here. And both these things are actually two sides of the same coin. It's our fight and flight instinct that kicks in, that primitive survival instinct that tells us there is a threat, do something. Problem is, our choices when we're in threat mode of what we do are limited to running, hiding, or fighting. Basically anything except actually being in the moment of the struggle. And that can lead us to what I call our toilet roll moment. Now, does anyone remember this moment back at the beginning of the pandemic? Yeah, what was going on there? I think what was going on there was that we felt out of control. There was a genuine threat to life out there, and we didn't know what we could do to keep ourselves safe. And we couldn't control any of the decisions that the governments were making, couldn't control the decisions that our bosses or our clients or organisations were making, couldn't even control the decision that my child's school was making. One thing I can do, I can make sure we don't run out of toilet paper. Like that I can do. And enough of us thought that we went and created a global-wide toilet roll shortage to go with our global pandemic, to the point where even people who went, this is ridiculous, suddenly went, hang on a minute, if the shops are running out, I probably need to stock up, right? And this is what happens often when we jump straight from problem to resolution. Now, at work, your reaction might not be toilet roll per se, but maybe fight mode for you might look like, I just need to knuckle on down, hustle on harder, I just need to make it happen. It might look like overwork, perfectionism, burnout. I need to do it all. I need to do it all myself. It might look like control freakery. It might also look like defensiveness, where we start seeing every disagreement as opposition, every deviation from the plan as a liability. And that defensiveness might shut down our creativity, or even just our willingness to listen to other people. And yes, fight mode can be useful sometimes, We can hit deadlines in fight mode. We can run sprints in fight mode. But maybe we can't run marathons. We certainly can't build bridges or relationships with fight mode. Or maybe for you, it's not so much fight mode, it's more flight mode. Withdrawal, hiding. Maybe I'll just keep my head down and stay safe. I won't speak my mind. I'll hold back from going for that pitch or that proposal or that promotion. I'll avoid. It might look like procrastination. Or it might look like, do you know what? Strategic silence, or disengagement, or quiet quitting. Or maybe it's freeze. Now, freeze doesn't look like nothing's going on. It can look a lot like there's a lot going on. It can look like busyness. Like, do you know what? I've got so much to do. I'm so busy with all of this stuff I need to get done, which, if I'm honest, feels safe. I haven't got time for that thing that feels like a struggle. Or the slightly lesser known response, the fawn response. This is kind of like if you imagine an animal in the wild saying to its predator, please don't eat me, I'll be your friend. That's basically the fawn response. It's our people-pleasing response, where we become overly accommodating, where we maybe say yes to everything and no to ourselves. Or maybe we say that fake yes. We tell people what we think they want to hear instead of what's actually on our minds. And I wonder if you recognise any of these responses in yourself, in your teams, in your organisations. Because these are really natural human responses. But at work, they can turn up as what I call high-functioning fear. So on the outside, they can look productive or strategic or even high-performing. But on the inside, what's really driving us is fear. And the thing about fear is, it gives us really narrow vision. We get black and white thinking when we're in fear mode. Everything is either good or it's bad. It's either right or wrong. You're either for me or you're against me. Things are either safe or they're dangerous. And that narrow vision is designed to protect us in a life-threatening situation, because if a bear is chasing down the street at you, you don't want to see everything. You don't want to be saying, I wonder what's behind those mountains over there, or are there any juicy berries in that bush over there that I could have for lunch, because that is going to get you killed. You just want to see bear. Like, what do I do? Do I pick up something and defend myself? Or do I run away and make myself safe? But actually, if what we're dealing with isn't a life-threatening situation, maybe there's a whole lot more to that picture than what fear, fight, or flight is showing us. And so that very same survival mechanism that is, keeping us alive could also be the same thing that's keeping us blind, blinkered, or stuck. And so maybe we need to stand down our fear and let something else to rise. Curiosity, which Paul mentioned earlier. How do we cultivate a culture of curiosity? We need to stand down fear, because curiosity is a natural human instinct, but it gets switched off when we're in fear mode, because curiosity is going to get you killed if you're being chased by a bear. But actually, curiosity is also the antidote to fear. So where fear says danger, don't go there. Curiosity says, ooh, that's interesting. Let's take a closer look. If we're dealing with obstacles and curveballs, fear will say, that's a problem you need to get rid of. But curiosity will go, but hang on, sometimes it's not until the conventional route is shut that we become open to the unconventional. So that obstacle might be really, getting in my way, but what if it can also be the opportunity to innovate? Or maybe it's not a big boulder that's completely blocking your path, but like curveballs, or even tiny grains of sand that get everywhere, grind you down, it's blooming irritating. Curiosity will say, do you remember in chemistry lessons at school, and I know that's a long time ago, a catalyst is essentially an irritant. So that thing that's irritating you right now, what if that could be a catalyst for change? Or if you're dealing with shitty feelings, strong emotions, difficult conversations, fear will say, this is just something you need to get rid of, get over, get away from as soon as possible. Curiosity might go, what's really going on here? Rather than how do I avoid or defeat or defend, it might say, what's going on behind that upset colleague, that angry customer? What information is here if I even just learn to listen and pay attention? Manoush Shafiq, who was until very recently the director of the London School of Economics, she said, in the past, jobs were about muscles. In the present, they're about the brain. In the future, they'll be about the heart. So actually, how we navigate our emotions, our human emotions, in ourselves, in each other, that will make a difference. So next time you find yourself in, I don't know if you've ever had email rage. It's like road rage, but with email. Oh yes. Or if you've ever been on the receiving end of someone else's email rage, that can feel a lot like being under attack. Your natural instinct will be, I need to defend myself, or protect myself, or I need to win this argument. But maybe now we can allow curiosity to go, ooh, what's really going on there? And of course, we're going to be facing uncertainty. So we've left our familiar shores behind and now we're navigating uncharted waters. And truth be told, none of us really know what we're doing here. And the words I don't know can be a problem when fear is in charge. Because, as we've heard already, we don't like ambiguity. And so we've been so used to associating knowing with expertise, professionalism, leadership. We've built our expertise on knowing. What happens when we don't know? When what lies ahead is untrodden, uncertain? Maybe this is the shift we need to make. We've been so used to operating in the core, which is our zone of expertise, where we know what we're doing, we have all the answers, where we deliver excellence 100% of the time, and we pride ourselves on that. But if we're always in the core, we're not spending any of our time on the periphery. And the periphery is where the innovation happens. The periphery is where we learn. It's where we grow. It's where the future is. And that periphery is uncertain. It's where we make mistakes. It's where we fail. It's where we struggle. And if we're going to change our relationship, if we're going to build a future-ready culture, we need to change our relationship with struggle. We need to be willing to step outside of that core of what we know and spend time in that periphery. And that also means that we need to maybe start changing how we talk about work, what we reward, how we measure performance. Because if it's all about optimization and productivity and deliver 100% of the time, we're in our core. We're not in that periphery. We're working in present day, but we're not creating the future. So let me leave you with my 3-step model to navigating struggle. The first is, oh shit, or oh shift, depending on what language we're using. If we don't recognize struggle, we're just going to be creating our toilet roll moment. So recognizing, noticing, naming that fear, learning how to spot high-functioning fear in ourselves and each other. Number 2, what is this shift? Activating curiosity in the face of fear. It's kind of like shining a light in the middle of the tunnel rather than at the end. And when we do that, that will lead us to our 3rd shift, which is, holy shift! It's the revelation, the learning, the opportunity. It's where we discover that actually those tricky conversations, rather than being a derailer, they could be where we build really powerful connections and powerful relationships. It's where we find that our tunnel isn't just a tunnel, it's a cave where we discover the treasure. And so that's how we build a future-ready culture.